Hello everybody, Abbott's brother here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the performance of some old PCs versus the Outer Worlds, the Spacer's Choice Edition. The Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition was developed by, the original game was developed by Obsidian, Spacer's Choice Edition developed by Virtuos, published by Private Division and released on PC March 7, 2023, uses the Unreal 4 engine and the DirectX 12 API. And you can see the minimum and recommended specs on screen here. Pretty demanding. First up, we're going to be testing the FX-8320e and the R9 290. And the reason we're not seeing some of the other ones here is the Spacer's Choice Edition is pretty VRAM demanding. So we are at 1080p, but we are running FSR quality, so it's going to be 720p. And we are at the low preset. And I realized that people are like, oh, maybe you should test the original. And it's like, well, there were additional gameplay improvements and leveling improvements and a whole bunch of things made to the game in the Spacer's Choice Edition. So Spacer's Choice Edition is the better way to play from a gameplay standpoint.
Whoa, hey.
And you can see here we're having some trouble with frame dips. The FX chip holding up pretty well. R9 290 is pretty much maxed out though. You can see we're dipping into the mid 40s here. VRAM is at 4 gigs, so that is the max used there. But RAM is not too bad. Now I understand there was a new version of Proton that came out that supposedly improved VRAM management. Unfortunately, this was recorded before that dropped, so maybe I'll go back and take another look at Spacer's Choice Edition on the R9 290 with Proton 11. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in seeing that. So indoors, absolutely no problem at all. And again, this is 1080p low, but it's FSR quality. And draw distance doesn't even seem to be that bad. It's just that one spot coming over the ridge outside town, which really dropped the frames. And that's why I threw this, came up with this loop here, because this is, we're under 60 there. This is a place that is fairly demanding, and it is early in the game. This is the first city, but not bad from the R9 290, but let's see how the 4790 and RX 480 do. And this was a little disappointing, because we're still at 1080p, and we're still using FSR quality, but we are at the medium preset, so the game will look a little better. Definitely a little disappointing. I was hoping to be able to stay above 60 FPS without using FSR. Now, maybe I could have managed that if I set it to low, but low really doesn't. And you see, we just dip under 60 right here. Medium definitely looks better. There's a lot more, a lot better contrast with the shadows and such. Maybe it's ambient occlusion or whatever. I don't know. But let's see how we do. See, just that one spot again. Coming over that rise when everything loads in, that could be a CPU thing. That could be the 4790. I'm telling you, I'm starting to have some thoughts about the Haswell desktop chips like the 4790. I think newer games are a lot more dependent on level 3 cache. And older CPUs like the 4790 and FX-8320e, they just have 8 megabytes of L3 cache. Now you see in here, this is fine. We're well up over 60 almost the entire time. And FSR quality, FSR doesn't look bad at the quality setting. You start trying to use balanced or performance and it really does not look good, but FSR quality, I could play with FSR quality. This is fine. You can see we got a little dip here. Oh, the dip's pretty good, not too bad. But we are using 6.5 gigs of VRAM, so yeah. okay performance from the RX 480, but now it's time for the Vega 64 and the i7-5930K. So we've got Haswell E, which has 15 megabytes of L3 cache, and we've got, I think it's 15 megabytes, and we're at 1440p medium, no upscaling. And we got the Vega 64 with its high bandwidth memory. 1440p medium, and you can see here, let's see what we get coming over the rise. Oh, we dip a little bit. We dip a little bit. We're down in the 50s. But then we're back up. I could play like this, I think. Might be nice to try turning on their... there's a reflection setting, I think, that is not turned on at the medium preset, but... yeah, it's riding a little close to the edge there. You know, if there's going to be, like, explosions and such happening. And there is a good bit of open-world combat in the Outer Worlds, sandbox combat. Primarily on Monarch, one of the planets later in the game. But in the town, we are up over 70, and now we're in the 80s to 100s here. Now, and Vega is working hard, you can tell, because the hotspot and VRAM temps are both up. So Vega is being fairly well utilized here. But at 1440p medium, we're seeing about 7.2 gigs of VRAM. And we're good. So that's a pretty good performance from Vega. I'm pretty happy with that. Just that spot outside of town. But now we come to the Ryzen 5 5500 and the Intel Arc A770. And this one surprised me because the Arc A770 is generally pretty good with Unreal 4 engine games. I mean, I tested Outriders a week or two ago, and that was pretty good. But here we're at 1440p low with FSR off. So same resolution, but a lower preset than the Vega. And that's fine, but there's a problem in the geometry, like right there to the left. It dips under 30. Now coming over the rise, there's problems. I think it's in the CPU render path, because we are showing the A770 is fully utilized all the time. But the frame rate is well down on Vega, and we're at a lower setting, lower preset. So to me, this spells trouble in the driver or in the game's optimization or something. But it wasn't it can't be the game, because Vega didn't have this problem. And the Arc is paired with a faster CPU. The Ryzen 5500 is a much faster CPU than the i7-5930K. So this is just very confused. Wow, we dipped to 31 right there. Now we're indoors and we're fine. But this has all the hallmarks of there being a problem in the driver or a problem in the something in the way Arc handles the game, because Arc has handled Unreal 4 games just fine before, and I know for a fact Arc handles Borderlands 3 just fine, which is another Unreal 4 game. But Spacer's Choice Edition of the Outer Worlds, not the best result. Even in town here, it can't hold 60 FPS. It's very disappointing. So, that was kind of a short video today, but my test loop was on the shorter side for the Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition. Kind of disappointing for the FX chip in the R9 though it is definitely down on VRAM there. The RX 480 and i7-4790, both another disappointment, because I felt like I should not have had to use FSR with that combo, but I did. And the A770 clearly has some issues in the, I don't know, the render path or something the way it handles the game. It is clearly not optimized, and Vega did, at 1440p medium, Vega did dip under 60 a time or two, but overall that was clearly the best performance out of this lot. Another win for Vega, and it's a surprising one because Arc tends to do well in Unreal 4. It just didn't this time. Hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.